Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I am Louise, this is Sewing Days, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Normally at the end of every month we do a recap of what we have been up to in the last month, but I thought that seeing as today, when I'm recording this, it is the 23rd of March. Today is 1 year since the UK went into our first lockdown. So I thought it would be a really great time to recap the last year and let you know what it's been like 1 year into a global pandemic, trying to run a small business. It's been a lot. I'm not gonna lie, some days have been super duper tough and some days I've thought it was an absolute cakewalk. I'll do a rough recap of sort of the important milestones that we covered over the last year. Also, please like this video, subscribe to our channel and let us know how you've dealt with the last year in the comments down below. I'd love to know how you guys have felt, particularly if you run a small business. I'd be really interested to see how you guys have got on. But for now, I'll get started. So as we all know, 2020 was bonkers. I think we all hoped that by 2021 we'd be a little bit further out of this, but for now, I mean, hopefully things are going in the right direction, but we just never know. So being open in March before we had to close was a really strange time. It felt like I didn't know what I should be doing. The guidance was really wishy-washy. Should we be wearing masks? Should we not be? Should we all just be staying at home? Should we have no contact with people whatsoever? And it was really quite stressful not knowing what to do. Now for me, my customers' health and my health is always the most important thing. So I didn't want to put anybody at risk, and I would have felt so guilty if by having the shop open I had endangered somebody's life or my own or my family. It was really, really tough just to know what to do, really. So we went into lockdown on the Monday, and I think the week before we'd all figured something was coming because they'd started doing the daily briefings on the news. A lot of Europe was in various stages of lockdown, and then eventually the world. We knew something was coming. When Boris made the announcement on the 23rd of March 2020 in the evening, I was prepared for it. No, I wasn't prepared for it. I was expecting it. I wasn't prepared for it. Being self-employed is always a gamble whenever you do it, however you do it, whatever sort of business you do, is always a bit of a gamble. I really like being self-employed and I like making all of my decisions for myself and for the business. When Boris said all non-essential retail, and basically the whole country, but for me focusing on non-essential retail, had to close for 3 weeks, sure, it was like being fired. It felt like somebody had said, you know how you have all that stock in a room which equates to a lot of money? Well, you may never be able to sell any of it and you may never make any money ever again. It was so stressful. It was like having the rug pulled from under your feet. It's like just going into work one day and then they just firing you and saying, okay, off you go, stay at home, bye. Initially we didn't know if we were going to get any government grants or any support. All I knew is it was all so scary and I was so overwhelmed. So basically the night when they made the announcement, it was in the evening, I basically just cried for ages. I spoke to my husband, I spoke to my best friend, I just cried. It was so overwhelming. I was looking back at my Instagram stories from the day after. I wish I could tell Louise then that it was going to be okay. It was going to be tough. It was going to be long, but it was going to be okay. I basically at that point came into the shop, put the shop into hibernation, so turned off all the plugs, emptied the bins, and then went home for 10 days. And I needed that time to get over the shock, to regroup, to fill the website with as much as I possibly could. We'd already had the website for about 6 months by then, but not everything was on there. I just basically threw as much on there as I could. And then I reopened the online shop after that time. I had so many messages from you guys. It's really, really encouraging and have had for the whole year. And that really does mean a lot. The first week, I didn't panic. I sort of went into survival mode. I spent a couple of days thinking, okay, what am I going to do? How is this going to work? Are we going to be able to do website? Can people do click and collect? Is this just going to be 3 weeks, or is it going to be 3 months, or is it going to be 10 years? Like, how long is this going to be? And that was the stressful bit. I spent a couple of days regrouping. After about a week of thinking and deciding and not being really sure what to do, my survival instincts just kicked in. I was like, well, I have two options, go big or go home, and I wasn't going anywhere. Literally, we were stuck at home. I just decided that I had to completely give it a go and see what happened. There was nothing else that we could do. So I went into full action mode, filled up the website, started posting on social media again. So I'll just tag that down here, but our Instagram, I'm quite active on Instagram stories. And it was just a case for a while of surviving, not thriving, and just ticking over. That was all I could do. If I was getting an order a day, like, I was happy. Obviously long term, not ideal, and the sales were way better than that, but in my head I was like, if I can get one sale every day, it just keeps that ball rolling, and it means that whenever we can reopen, I'm not starting from zero, I'm starting a bit ahead of the game. Little did I know we were going to be closed for about 3 months. So we stayed in lockdown and the shop stayed closed until the end of June. In that time, the government didn't have enough PPE. You lovely people, crafters of the world, but particularly in the UK and in our local area, there were some amazing groups. You guys all jumped into action and started making scrubs for the NHS or for anybody who needed them. I wish I'd had time to make some. However, although I have the skill to make them, I feel like my time was better suited to supplying you guys with the materials that you needed. So we were working with 2 local groups as well as lots of individual people who were ordering through the website. So I've done a little calculation today, and I'm so proud that for scrubs in the 2020 pandemic for COVID, we supplied over 1,100 meters. So we've supplied fabric for more than 350 pairs of scrubs. Sometimes we were delivering 100 meters to people and to groups, sometimes we were sending out 3 or 4 meters, but it was so overwhelming, and you guys are so amazing. So also this year, a lot of people have been making face coverings or face masks. I don't actually know how much elastic I have sold over the last year. I am going to do some calculations after this before I edit it, and then I'm going to put down here how many meters we have sold or donated and how many masks that equates to. So many people making them for charity, we're making them for your family and friends, for yourselves. It was so overwhelming when we reopened to have so many of you guys coming in to buy fabric for them, elastic, and we still sell a lot of elastic because I think face coverings are going to be around for a while and people want to keep making them. And I loved at Christmas when you were making Christmas ones. So good. I'm so proud that I could do that, and it's one of the things from the last year that I think is actually something good that's come out of this, is to know that when we need each other, that we're there. Small businesses have kept this country ticking over, I think, for the last year. When big businesses had to close or couldn't keep up or didn't have the stock, small businesses like me, small retailers or farm shops, everybody has really banded together. It's a real blitz spirit, as they called it back in the day. I'm really proud of our country for that. I think we did an amazing job of keeping morale going. Like I said, we were closed for 11 or 12 weeks, and then from the end of June we could reopen, and I was so excited. Getting stock was still like pulling teeth because nobody had made anything for 3 months globally. Wherever it was made, it was then having to get into the country. It was painful. So when we reopened, we had to reopen. Everybody was wearing a face covering, everybody had to use a hand sanitizer when they came in. Social distancing had been introduced between the shop closing and reopening, so that we had to stay 2 meters apart from everybody. I have a screen put in the shop so I can stand behind it, and it covers the whole of the front of length of the till and the side as well. It was really strange the first day when I opened. The actual bricks and mortar shop has, yeah, it's become an extension of my house. Having people coming back into the shop was like having somebody in your living room, because for 3 months I'd been the only one here. It was really strange to suddenly be like, yeah guys, in you come. After a week or so I was totally used to it, and it just felt like this new normal that everybody's talking about that I think we just need to embrace. We were then open from the end of June until the end of October, and then about Halloween they announced that we would be going back into another lockdown for the whole month of November. The shop was closed again. It was much easier that time to go back to online only. People knew how the system worked. We could do click and collect. The lead up to Christmas is our busiest time of year. People are buying to make, people are buying gifts. Also, we would normally be running 100 classes a year. We had done none. Particularly at Christmas, we normally run extra classes over the Christmas period. Being shut in November was hard. I could see the money I'd taken in previous years, and I could see the money I was taking in November, and there was just no comparison. Thankfully, throughout this pandemic, the government has supplied us with a couple of grants. Personally, I've had no money. The shop has, because of our business rates status. Thankfully, that's kept us ticking over, and our landlord has been really generous with helping us out where he can as well. We are very lucky. So we closed again for all of November, and then we were open again in December for 3 weeks. We basically had the 3 weeks from the beginning of December up until Christmas, and then we have been in lockdown or tier 4 since Boxing Day. Sales this lockdown have been rubbish. Not gonna lie, it's been rubbish. Hopefully we'll have a big rush when people come back in. We are ticking over, but we aren't doing anything near what we would be. It is stressful. This year I have really struggled with my mental health. I know a lot of people have. I have an anxiety disorder, so I have GAD. Trying to run a business, not having a routine as such, not being able to see my friends and family, and that is a huge thing for me because I'm a massive people person. Even when I'm running a business, I don't see customers, and that is what I love, is helping you guys out, giving you advice, all of those face-to-face interactions. I have really struggled. My husband's been brilliant, but he's still one person in the world. I need more than that. I need more stimulation than that. That combined with trying to run a business, and can I get stock, and do we have enough money, and can I pay myself, and are we getting any grants from the government? It was just overwhelming. If you want to, you can go back and watch our other recap videos. I will tag the January one up here, but we have a full playlist of at the end of every month when I talk through what we have done in that month and what's coming up in the next month. But I do talk a bit about my mental health because it is a struggle. I wouldn't say I suffer from a mental health disorder. I would say I live with a mental health disorder, and this year I have been really low. I know so many of us have struggled this year, and even if you haven't, you know people that have, or you've had days where you just don't want to get out of bed. To begin with, I felt like having anxiety was a superpower. People were experiencing anxiety and losing their jobs, and this just complete changed the entire world. They were experiencing anxiety for the first time, and I was thinking, oh, I've got this. I know how to handle this. I know what I need to do to keep myself going. But the longer it's gone on, and particularly in the beginning of the year when the weather was rubbish and we thought 2021 was going to be so much better, and it just ended up being pretty much exactly the same thing. I had more bad days than good while trying to run a business and, you know, keep a house and adult and all of those things. I am so proud of myself for getting through 2020 and 2021 so far. Touch wood. I am aware of how far I've come, and having a business at the end of a global pandemic is incredible. Even if we haven't done amazing things and we haven't had incredible growth and hundreds of millions of YouTube subscribers and Instagram followers and all of those things, they're really nice to have, don't get me wrong. Please like and subscribe and all those things. I've had customers that have kept coming back and they've kept us afloat. All of those things have helped me out massively with my mental health, as well as the shop giving me a bit of routine. One thing I am super glad and super grateful for is being self-employed. It has been a lot. It has been a lot. That is the world's biggest understatement. It also means that I have been able to make all of the decisions about my life. So many of my friends have been furloughed or made redundant. I am so glad that I have been able to make my own destiny, for want of a better phrase, that I have been able to make my own decisions, decide when I work and when I don't work, and how I work and where I work from, and how I pay myself and if I pay myself, rather than having that extra stress of somebody else making these huge life decisions for you. So that is definitely something else that I am very thankful for 2020 and 2021 during this pandemic, and that has definitely helped my mental health, is knowing that all of the decisions I make, good or bad, are all on me. Then that gives me peace of mind. Whew, enough of that, Louise, cheer up. So one good thing that has happened from being in the pandemic is, like I said, the government has given us grants, which has allowed us to do things that we wanted to do for the business but haven't been able to do so far because of money, and just I'm always super cautious with money, so I just always want to make sure that I don't push myself too far. But the shop now has a van. I am so happy. It's so cute. I've been wanting one for so long. Back in the day when craft fairs were a thing, and hopefully in the future, but we used to cram everything into my car and then unload it all and reload it all, and it was just an absolute nightmare. So now we have a little van, which makes it infinitely easier. Even just getting stock from the house here. I will link up here a video I did of the yarn haul that we had a couple of weeks ago, and you can see how much I can get in it because all of my yarn delivery was in there and it looked hilarious. It was all crammed in, it was like Tetris. We've also been able to do our refurb in the shops. Being closed has actually given us a lot of time to rethink, rejig everything, get some new flooring put down, paint the wall behind me, and just make a few like cosmetic changes that we wouldn't have been able to do if we were open, because I could never justify time to shut the shop to do that sort of thing, whereas now I've had plenty of time. But also it's given me the money to be able to do it so that I am not stressing about if I should have spent the money on that or not. So the government grants have really helped us out to just push the business further, ready for when we reopen. I mean, it's helped us keep ticking over, but it's actually put us in a better financial position than we would have been in if we just carried on trading normally for a year. It has definitely helped. So looking forward, I mean, we're a year into this now, which just feels nuts. I just want to get back to however close to normal we can. I want everybody to stay safe, my family to have their health, me to keep the business going, and I just want to start running a business that I love again. There were definitely times where I've thought, not sure I can be bothered with this anymore, just plodding along, not really doing very great things, not getting to see my customers, just getting by, and that's not how I am. I need to be driven and going, and I find it very difficult to stay stagnant. I had to keep reminding myself during the pandemic that being a business at the moment is a luxury. That is an amazing thing, and that is an achievement. So again, surviving, not thriving. Surviving is a lot more than some businesses have, or businesses that have been close to having to close. So I am very proud of where I am, and don't tell myself that a lot. Next time I'm having a bad day and feel like I don't know what the point is, I'm gonna rewatch this video and tell future Louise, stop being so hard on yourself, stop comparing yourself to other people, look at what you've done. You still have a business, you still have a house, and you've done brilliantly. Well done, Louise. And to all small business owners, whether you've started in the last year, whether you've been doing it for years, just well done on getting through this weird time, and hopefully we won't be too long before we're out the other side. In theory, in 3 weeks from when I'm recording this, but 2 weeks from when you're seeing this, the shop can reopen. We will, in theory, be opening on the 13th of April, although between now and then something might change. That is the date we are getting ready for, and I can't wait. It's definitely given me a bit of pep in my step for getting the shop to how it needs to be, to working a bit harder than I have been, because I've definitely been enjoying a bit of time off, much needed time off, don't get me wrong, and I've definitely learned going forward, even when the shops reopen full time and we're back to whatever's going to be normal in the future, I need to take more time for me, because I just run myself into the ground. I've actually quite enjoyed like getting off that treadmill and having like a hard reset. I mean, it didn't need to be a year, I would have been fine with 3 months. So hopefully going forward I can juggle my time better, have a bit more time off, and we can get you guys back in the shop. We've made changes. You guys have seen them in the previous videos, but again, I'll put the vlog up here of the refurb that we did. I got enthusiasm for this again. For a while I was waning, even a little bit before the pandemic. This has given me a kick up the bum to make me realise what I want to do, how I want to do it, and the main thing I've learned is that I want you guys back here with me. We'll still do all the same online, click and collect and all of those things if you don't feel comfortable with coming out yet. This coronavirus pandemic has been tough at Sewing Daze, and as Louise Drake, I know it's been tough for a lot of us. Although it might not be how we wanted it to be, we've all made it through, and that is more than some people have. And you know, my heart goes out to all the people who lost somebody, all of the horrible things that have happened this year. I have so much to be thankful for. Now we've all learned that we have to make the most of our friends and family, cut out the toxic people as well. Like, that has definitely been something I've done this year. Like, if you haven't checked up on me in a year, you're really not that bothered. But I'm not going to end this on a bad note. Also, this year we got a new kitten. Now I know that probably doesn't seem very exciting, but it was a little bit of light in a really strange year. If you've seen a few of our other videos, Sophie has made a few appearances, but I will put a little video here of her just to make you smile. Say hello, YouTube. You're just so distracting. Okay, so that is my pandemic 2020 to 2021 recap, the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic. Obviously it's not end now, we are a year in, but it's going to be a while yet, so stay tuned with us. We do lots of fabric, yarn and shop content every Tuesday. If you want to see how we've opened, when we opened and all of those things, stay tuned for the April recap, and hopefully I'll be able to tell you then that we have reopened and all the exciting things that have happened between now and then. So stay safe guys. As always, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. You can follow us at all the normal social media spaces and the website, which are all down here. That was an emotional one. I struggled a bit with that, and looking back, like, you just don't realise what you're doing. You don't realise how tough it is when you're in it, and then suddenly you're out the other side and you're like, whoa, that's history. We've just made history. People will be learning about this in school going forward, and that is mad. This is also kind of a diary to myself, so I can remember what it was like. So in, you know, 5 years when I'm billions of pounds and living on a yacht, I can go, oh yeah, do you remember that time I struggled? Look where I am now. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. Have a good day, guys.